Hello there. Welcome back. Rock and roll. Welcome back to Jay's Rock and Roll Stories. I'm your host, Jay. Let's just jump back into it. We're on our part 2 of our Sam Cutler story. The last thing we talked about was Goldfinger. But now we got to jump back into this idea of a free concert. So remember that John James guy who's like a out of uniform police officer on annual leave running like a cocaine ring under the guise of being security for the Stones, that guy? Well, he is sort of going behind Sam Cutler's back and chatting with this lawyer in the Bay Area named Hal Belly, and they're trying to get a location for the free concert at this place called Sears Point. And it's just like, well, what the fuck is going on? You know, Sam Cutler's like what's happening here? And it's a shitty location. Sam goes out and looks at it. It's a lousy location, and it turns out that it just they're working hand in hand. Hal Belly's connected with the mob, connected with the Teamsters that is kind of mob controlled at the time. It's all together. But the Stones don't really give a shit. They really don't care either way. But Sam Cutler's just like, what am I taking on? So finally, they get it moved to a more of a doable location called Altamont, which is an old raceway east of San Francisco, out in the countryside. And it's an old raceway, and the guy who owns it, he doesn't really even care about any profit. He just likes having his name put out there like that. So, Friday, December 5th, they start. I forgot to say they started putting up a stage and lights at the Sears Point. So they needed to get trucks and get all these people to come move everything from Sears Point to Altamont, which is like almost an hour away. And it was kind of Sam Cutler said it was kind of impressive how all of the band guys, all of the the roadies, the backup guys, roadies, people that take down the stage hands, that kind of thing, all of those guys from all of the Bay Area bands, from Quicksilver Messenger Service, Santana, Steve Miller Band, Grateful Dead, Jefferson Airplane, all those guys came together and did it, and just moved all the shit to Altamont. It was really impressive. Going behind the back of everyone, also the John James and Hal Belly didn't tell anyone, but they told radio stations. So the radio stations are making announcement that the concert it's going to happen February 6th, not December, February 6th. So February 5, no, I'm wrong. It's December 6th. Okay, so December 5th, there's cars for miles trying to get out to this location. People are just ditching their cars and walking. All the cops are all hands on deck. They're just towing cars away. And so they're setting up the location for Altamont. They're working really hard. People are showing up, though. People that want to hear the Stones are already showing up. They're like setting fires, like, up in the hills. This is like miles of countryside. There's like cattle walking around because the fences were taken down. There's like barns that were smashed over, so people are using the wood from the barns to make fires. There's like stray dogs going all over the place. There's like women with babies, and there's little children running around, and there's bad acid. What does that mean? Sam Cutler is walking around with Keith Richards, and Keith Richards is digging. He's like, this is cool. It looks like in an apocalyptic scene where people are there's a stage being built, but people are just out of their minds, and people walking around with jars of this like yellow brown pills, and and Sam Cutler is talking about how he's done acid. He's seen people having, bad trips, and people are just bugged out. Like this is bad acid. And he even thinks that someone did this on purpose. Someone created something bad, like created bad acid just to put a bummer on this. So, but Keith's digging it. Keith's like, no, I'm gonna stick around. While Sam Cutler is telling him like, you should, get back to the trailer, because like the trailer where all the band is, they're hanging out there, and Keith's like walking around. This is cool. So there's already 100,000 people there. You can't even get in. There's cars lined up, cars getting towed. It's a freaking mess. So February 6th is the actual concert, and the Hells Angels are going to be doing the security. And the funny thing is that there's supposed to be a bunch of police, and they're bailing. They're like, we can't handle these people. So you got the Hells Angels, and then you got this other group of like these. The Hells Angels called them prospects. They were not like official Hells Angels yet. And these, like, if you see the movie, these are the guys with the pull cues. The guys with the pull cues beating anybody, just beating the shit out of anyone with the pull cues. And no one could handle this. So the cops are just the cops are like, you know what? We're just going to handle traffic. We're just going to make sure people are safe getting here and back. We're not going in. All right. So I think there's only like 2 remaining police that stick around. Funchess, their personal security guard, he breaks his hand of getting in a fight, so he had to leave to the hospital. It's crazy. All the Hells Angels are just getting wasted on speed and drinking wine and just beating people up. And it almost looks like an excuse just to beat the shit out of hippies, So anyway, so they have a few other bands that are going to play before the Stones. Santana goes on, and Sam Cutler said there wasn't really much of a reaction from the crowd. Like, it didn't hit. Jefferson Airplane goes on, and Marty Ballin, their great singer-songwriter, who all the bands are witnessing the Hells Angels beat the shit out of people in the audience. So Marty Ballin gets off the stage and approaches one of the Hells Angels. He's like, "What the hell, man? Why are you doing that to our fans?" And Hells Angels punch him right in the fucking face, knocks him out. He's unconscious. And then Sam Cutler tries to fix it. He goes to the Hells Angel who knocked out Marty Ballin. He's like, "Hey, I'm Sam Cutler. What's your name?" And the Hells Angel says, "Everyone knows me as Animal." "Okay, Animal. Is it possible you could just, leave the bands alone at least? I know you're having a hard time, not beating the crap out of the audience here, but how about the bands can be hands off?" And he's like, "All right, fine, I'll do my best." So Marty Ballin comes out. He comes to from being knocked out, and then the Animal he gave us him a hand, like, "Here, I'll pick you up," and Marty Ballin says, "Fuck you!" So the Animal hits him again, bam, knocks him out again. Sam Cutler looks at him like, "What the fuck, man? I asked you to help me out." And Animal just shrugs. He says, "I tried." All right. So the cops are not showing up anymore. Like, people are trying to get the cops to come because there's medics. There's medics on standby where people are having bad trips. And the medics know what a bad trip looks like. And they have worked in clinics in the Bay Area. And they said, "We've never seen so many people have such a bad reaction." And they're giving, I think they're giving people with bad trips Thorazine, and the body, that would calm them down, but it's not even taking it. People are just freaking the fuck out. So the John James guys, they bail too. They were supposed to be all hands on deck as well. We'll be security too. At first, they were just going to, they're going to help out with it. But then they said, we're just going to make sure that the film crew is okay. Because the Maisleys brothers are there filming it. I mean, if you've never seen the Altamont movie, the Rolling Stones Altamont movie, see it. It's cool. The Maisleys brothers did it. So they kind of cower. They say, we're just going to hang around the Maisleys brothers. Eventually they say, we're getting the fuck out of here too. There's no control over anything. It's just the Hells Angels beating the shit out of everybody. At one point, Sam Cutler goes to chat with Jackson, who's one of the Grateful Dead's main guys setting up all the gear. And he's like, "Hey, let's see what's going on. Let's chat about this." And he has a big black eye, right? So they go in a trailer and they cut up a couple lines. They're doing a couple lines of coke, and then Animal walks by. They see him. Sam Cutler's like, "Oh, at least I got to, connect with one Hell's Angel. Hey, Animal, come in here, have a line with us." So it's Sam Cutler, Animal, and Jackson all doing a line together. Animal does his line, shoot, and then he leaves. He walks out, and then Jackson looks at Sam Cutler and he points to his black eye and he's like, "That was the asshole who gave me this." So it's a mess. And if you've never seen the movie, there's a murder. There's a killing caught on film of Meredith Hunter. Meredith Hunter is a black man. He's got like a green suit on, and while the Stones are playing, the camera moves over and you can see a fight between a man with a black man with a green suit on, bright green suit, and a Hell's Angels. And Meredith Hunter reaches into his coat or his jacket, brings out his hand, and you hear gun, and then the Hell's Angels tackle him and he disappears off stage, and then they stab the shit out of him and he's just left there bleeding out, dying. It's awful, especially if you're just fucking helpless. Like it's just you and the Hell's Angels, it's bad. So the story behind Meredith Hunter is he was there with one of his girlfriends, and his backstory is his nickname is Murdoch Supreme. He's kind of a badass. He's a member of a gang called the East Bay Executioners, and he's a dealer of marijuana and methamphetamine, and he's a methamphetamine user. And I read in another book. It wasn't this autobiography book of Sam Cutler. It was another book where the Hells Angels were just antagonizing everyone. Like if you made eye contact with one of them, they made eye contact with you, they're just gonna fuck with you. And I read that someone was there watching the interaction between Meredith Hunter and this Hells Angels, and he's just trying to listen to music, trying to hang out with his girl, and the Hells Angels are just saying shit, black this, black that, and he's a meth user, so he's probably gonna get a little paranoid. That's why he fucking carries a gun, I assume, and yeah, they fuck with the guy. They really mess with him, and it gets to that point, and it's terrible. So yeah, the band is playing. You can see in the movie Mick Jagger is screaming to the Hells Angels to calm down, and so the Angels are just beating the shit out of everyone. We already know that. John James is gone. Finally, the band is able to get off the stage, and with the help of some Hells Angels, they get on a helicopter, and they fly out of there. At that point, everyone had gone. All the other bands, John James and his crew, everyone had already left. The only people left were Cutler and the Stones, and then the Stones' hands. So flying away in the helicopter, there was an interesting quote that Sam said in his book. He said, so this is on the topic of the killing. There was no police inquiry following Altamont, no public inquiry. Why? For the simple reason that such an inquiry would have exposed the fact that the police had done nothing in the face of a serious violent crime. Nothing, that is, other than bravely towing away hundreds of cars that had been parked here illegally. So anyway, the Stones split. they don't even stick around. They don't even stick around and answer any questions. They go to Europe. They're like, we're out, we're done, which looks really fucking bad. Sam Cutler sticks behind. He stays in the U.S. and the angels, the Hell's Angels, summon him. He's thinking that I'm going to go there and they're going to fucking waste me. But no, he goes there and he sits down with one of their little like delegates, and they say, we want the film. We want that piece of film where that guy got killed. Meredith Hunter was killed. So he's like, well, I'll see what I can do. So Sam Cutler, he sticks around. He goes back to Mickey Hart's place in Marin County, and he's staying in the barn. And that's where he kind of connects with Jerry Garcia. So Sam Cutler and Jerry Garcia kind of like have a little powwow together, and so he's kind of hiding out in a way. Sam Cutler's hiding out because like there's shit going down. He can't just run away to England or anything. There's a dead body. Arrests are going to be made, and Jerry Garcia kind of comes to him. He actually kind of feels slightly responsible, because the whole idea of having this free concert was the Grateful Dead people, Grateful Dead crew, Grateful Dead, Rock Scully. So, interesting description when Sam Cutler and Jerry Garcia are kind of bonding. His description of Jerry Garcia is he's very cautious. He has soft, pudgy hands. He's overweight. Like the only exercise he ever did was when he was a child. Jerry Garcia lives in a place called Larkspur, and he invites Sam to stay with him. Like, shit's gonna hit the fan. We don't know what's gonna happen. Why don't you stay with us? And Jerry Garcia lives with his girlfriend, Mountain Girl, and they have a couple kids in the house. And Jerry Garcia is spending a lot of his time working on steel guitar. Like, he's just practicing steel guitar. He got headphones on. And across the street, down the street from Jerry's house is Janis Joplin's house. And Sam Cutler goes to hang out with her. And they have a little history because Janis Joplin at one point was backstage at a Rolling Stones concert at the Madison Square Garden of '69, and she was completely wasted, and then the band was kind of embarrassingly telling her, like, can you get lost? No, guys, let's hang out. Come on, let's get drunk. So anyway, so Janis Joplin and Sam Cutler, they kind of bond. They become good friends. It's kind of a sweet friendship. It never becomes sexual or anything like that. It's just very, very kind. They're kind to each other. And so it's kind of sad because Janis Joplin is she's just kind of a mess. She's just kind of drunk all the time. Sam Cutler says she's crying all the time, but he's there like a kind person just to have a shoulder for her to cry on, and they become good friends. So Sam Cutler sees that there is this conflict of the Grateful Dead and their manager, Lenny Hart. He met Lenny Hart when he first got to the airport the first time to do like the mission to find out where we're going to do this free concert. Lenny Hart is Mickey Hart's father, and Lenny Hart is like a Christian minister. He has got a Bible in his hand, and he just kind of throws there like, what? And, Sam Cutler doing some digging, just asking questions. It kind of sounds like the band doesn't have any money, not even a pot to piss in, but this Christian Bible man is just, with a big smile on his face is leading the band around. So what is that all about? So it turns out that Lenny Hart has been stealing from the band, and he basically steals about $100,000 and runs away to San Diego with his girlfriend. He doesn't even leave the state. He just leaves, and eventually he gets arrested. But the reaction from the band is like, well, that sucks. There's The only person in the Grateful Dead that wanted to get some sort of like revenge was Bill Kreutzmann, their drummer, the other drummer, who was like, I want to knock him out. Everyone else is kind of like, well, you know, karma's a bitch, like that kind of thing. So Sam Cutler, he's kind of invited by Jerry Garcia to become the new manager. But Jerry Garcia insists that he wants 3 managers. Why? Just so there's checking on each other to make sure everything's cool. So Sam Cutler is working as their manager, and he kind of noticed there's a big comparison that he talks about in the book, how when he was working with the Stones, when they would have a band meeting with the Stones, it would be just Mick and Keith. Sam Cutler, Mick and Keith. Let's just chat. We'll have a, you know, even like Bill Wyman or Charlie Watts wouldn't even be there, because Bill Wyman was thought that Keith Richards didn't like him. Like for 10 years, those two didn't even talk. So compared to the band meetings that Sam Cutler, well, in the beginning, the Sam Cutler band meetings of the Grateful Dead, there's like in the barn with like 60 people there. There's like women with babies. There's dogs. He asks a question about the band, and some random person says answers, and he's like, "Well, how do you fit in the band? What's your role?" And he's like, "Oh no, I saw a bunch of cars. I just walked in." What? Yeah, I just wanted to come in and say hi. Okay. And then the band didn't have a problem with it. Oh, he can stick around, no problem. So, you know, so Sam Cutler's just kind of like, this is, doing business like this is not going to be sustainable. So his idea is to completely change the band. But there's some pushback, because they call it fascist. They call it fascist, that Sam Cutler wants to have, like, be the boss. You got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this. But it's just this is chaos, you know. Like, you guys are losing money. You already lost $100,000. So it is a disaster. But Sam Cutler, Jerry Garcia has a lot of faith in him. Sam Cutler, he's not doing this for the money. He's doing this because he finds a lot of beauty being around the Grateful Dead and these guys. He talks about how Sam Cutler says that, so let's have a plan. We gotta make our money back, man. So let's do a 100 concert date, like in a year. Let's do a 100 concert tour. He starts making relationships with the accounting people, so we have accountability of what the fuck's going on. They had a garbage bag full of receipts. That was their accounting. Like, that's how they had it. No, that's not going to work. He makes relationships with the sound guys. You know, they got to communicate with those guys. And I'm going to leave it with a nice quote that he talks about with this comparison, or this new life he's going to have with the Stones. He says, Sam Cutler says, as I got to find out more about Dead and their family, I became increasingly intrigued. How did you join this group? Where did all these people come from? Neither Garcia nor Robert Hunter, the Dead's lyricist, could really explain the process coherently. Apparently, one was either on the bus or off the bus. It was pretty much like that. All right. He says, I love the mystery of it all. Life for the Grateful Dead seemed much more pleasant, a surreal dance, conducted with a sunny grin and an amused detachment from the tedious realities of straight existence. Being a member of the Dead family had none of that feeling of heavy responsibility that weighed upon a member of the Rolling Stones entourage. You couldn't have found 2 more different bands. So I'm going to leave it right here. I'm going to end right here. That's part 2. Thanks for sticking around. At some point, I'm going to direct you to the Facebook page and Twitter page and all that shit, but we'll get there. You know, the office is working really hard. You guys getting the Facebook and all that stuff ready? Yeah? You're going to get all that stuff ready so that, you know, the listeners can do it? Yeah? Twitter and all that shit? Yeah? Yeah, so they're working on it really hard. So, thanks for sticking around. Until next time. See you later.